Hey you.
Hello,
Hello.
Marcus.
Hello, Mark. I can't. Hey, there it is. The sound came back in.
We're
How
getting
are
good
you?
at this whole audio thing. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
taking us a couple of seconds rather than a few minutes.
there you go. There you
Here
go.
we are.
And yes, we're back. We're back in it. It's always good to see you. Always good to see
Yeah,
you.
likewise. It's been a week.
Hmm. It's a heavy week on this side, heavy week on that side, and these conversations are like home. Welcome to coming home to who you are with Marcus and Mark. Um, we're now inside the third chapter. This is the end game now.
The third part of the book. Yeah,
The third part, yes. Winding down. Can you just give us a brief synopsis of what the book is, and then I'll show them where they can join along and read with us?
sure. So this is the book is called "Coming Home to Who You Are: Education Re-Enlightened," and it's a story of three friends at university, and they are discovering who they are as part of their educational journey. And it's not something that's currently built into the curriculum, but it's something that they are championing and taking a stand for and getting support from certain mentors and professors at the institution. And so they are sort of agents of change within a system and creating a new vision for education from the inside out. And so, yeah, we chronicle their journey, their ups and downs, and hopefully through this storytelling, we're able to be part of, yeah, a new chapter in education, what it means, and how it can help bring out even more potential in our youth going forward.
Hey, it's beautiful. You know, I see it as you say a new chapter in education, but well, I say but, and it's a new chapter in human development. The work you do is human development of at being at full potential, and it's as if the environment is forcing us to look at our humanity. When I say the environment, AI changing, new technologies, and it's just like, really, who are you? That's what change means.
Crisis,
It says,
yeah,
who are you? Yeah.
global crisis. I think you're
Hmm.
right. It's we're being not just invited, but almost drawn into the inner world, right, as a way to be able to respond in more grounded and centered ways to everything that's happening around us, right? Because without that inner connection, we just feel lost and disempowered and confused and, depressed when
Hmm.
so many things are going on around us. But when we're grounded and when we do have a good sense of who we are and we've done that journey of coming back home, we can meet whatever is coming our way with much more
Hmm.
presence and,
Confidence,
and
trust,
impact.
confidence.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
Well, also impact, right? That we're not um, disempowered, but that we find a way to actually be the change and contribute
Hmm.
to the yeah to improving life, right? And humanity.
Mark, do you know that I used to dance? Did you know that? Or I was
I
a
didn't know
dancer?
that actually, but I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, music runs through you and words run through you, so I can imagine that
Hey,
rhythm
it's
also
all
runs through you.
vibration.
Hmm.
It's all vibration, right? The reason I bring it up is because, like we're talking about, society or larger systems are forcing the kids into conversations. So then they have to think, am I going to be passive and receive this change, or am I going to be active and I say push against it, but in that pushing against it, that's what life does. It rubs up against each other. That's what Shakespeare said. But it's yeah, you become a dance. It's the dance of life, really.
Mm.
It
That's great.
pushes
That's
on you.
great. I love it. Yeah.
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 That's what we said. There's no empowerment without impact.
You move with it.
No impact without empowerment. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that's
Well,
beautiful. Beautiful metaphor.
if you want to get an advanced reader copy of the book, you can scan your QR code here or go to beingatfullpotential.com/coming home.
Can
Coming home.
you check your audio, Marcus? It's again, it's a little fading. Try again.
You, you know what I've noticed?
Yeah,
And then
there
it
we go.
comes back in, right?
It's better. Yeah.
I need to look at something with my system just because I saw in this recording I do it. All the physical stuff stays the same, but it dips and then it comes back. Okay. All right. It's good to be back. Um, to get your advanced copy reader, go to beingatfullpotential.com/coming home. All right. And let's jump into our chapter today, which is chapter 18. The article that changed everything. Really? Really changed everything? I mean, what can a
It,
word do, Mark? It's just a
yeah,
word.
it's a good point. Did it change everything?
Mm,
It definitely opened up doors, and I think that is a very great message, actually, how writing
mm,
and expressing ourselves and putting our work out there, we don't just do it, for ourselves or even for an immediate audience, but we do it because we're sending a signal out, um, a broader signal, right? It's showing a level of commitment and dedication towards something that's important to us, right?
mm.
And I think it takes courage to move from an inner place of holding ideas, playing with ideas, to expressing them to, our close friends and colleagues, to actually putting it out there, publishing something, making it more public. And I think there's something
Public
very
art.
powerful in the manifestation process. So in that sense, it does change everything, right? Because it impacts, it has ripple effects, I think. And
Mm.
yeah.
Hmm. I used to teach literary arts to kids, and we had that chapter where we are talking about things that were written, but they didn't come into their time until they did. But unless they were written, they would never would have. I'm thinking Anne Frank's diary, Emily Dickinson's work, The Alchemist, but they had to be put out into into this realm, if you
Mm.
will,
Mm.
before it was realized and amplified.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Scandinavian. It's as it says here, for idea to be realized, it needs to be expressed. So it has to be pushed out of you. Express, X means out, press means pressing. You have
Mm-hmm.
to get it on the paper, get it on the page,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's what we say, publish, publicare, because it means to make public. And here's the thing, right? A lot of our ideas, they're not refined until they are made public.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they fall flat when they're made public,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not until we have that, again, rubbing of the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
that they're refined. I mean, that's what we did for the
It,
past year. Like, you would put out
yeah.
an idea, I would put out an idea, and they would rub against each other.
Yeah.
What were you going to
Yeah,
say?
it's like giving birth to something, right?
I
It
wouldn't know.
needs,
Go on, yeah.
well,
I do. I'm joking. Go on.
no, I think we all do, right? Because we give birth to our ideas and to our projects and,
Yeah.
sometimes to children. But
Hmm.
the idea that something has to mature inside, it needs a period of gestation. And then if it wants to come out, right? It
Hmm.
wants to go from sitting inside in our
Hmm.
head, in our heart, in our being, and it wants to
Hmm.
go out. And I think that that's a very natural, um, yeah, a very natural thing, because you're giving life to something, you're allowing it to grow and to and then you become, you're still connected to it, but you're more a nurturer of it rather than having to, yeah, you know what I mean. I hope.
That's the easiest conversation. You know what I mean. You know what I
You
mean.
know what I mean.
Well, watch this now. We're asked to be collaborators. Work because you express something by working. That's what I heard you say. This is what I heard you say. So let me see if it's right. Um, it takes effort to have an expression, of course. And there's some ideas that you collaborate and you bring together. So more effort, better expression. Um, that's there was another point after that, but I think that's what stood out to me in the moment when you're talking.
Mm, mm,
There's another thing that stood out. Before the meeting, we were talking about, okay, so we do inner work, inner development, and then there's us as an agent in this community, and then um, there's also an understanding of something beyond us, and that could be the larger community that we don't see, right? Or it could be in the understanding of spiritual realms. I believe there's life at all three of those levels. Whatever life means to you, life in your inner world, life in this community, and then life in the beyond. And what I mean by life, there's well-being. Like life wants you to enjoy life, like to experience, to process, and to express. Now, if there's something within you that contributes to the well-being of life, you said life. It's funny. You said something has to work inside you, and you want to push it out. But when you're in alignment with those three parts, it's also pulling it out of you.
mm. Yes.
There have been moments as a writer, as a creative, it's just like I remember I asked this entrepreneur, I'm just like, why are you so dogged about what you do? He said, I have a vision and I will not be at peace until it is realized and manifest in this real world. And when he said that, it just clicked for me. I was just like, yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some people it's because it has that's what the alignment is. The alignment is it has to flow out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boom.
You know, the other thing you mentioned to me when, before our call today, you were saying that some people had gotten in touch with you or had been sending you some messages, and you were asking me if I knew them or if I sort of made the connection. I was like, no, no, not at all. Uh, and it was like a question mark, like how are these connections happening? How are people finding you? And it's a bit of a mystery, right? But at the same time, that's how it works. You put something out there, you express yourself, it impacts somebody, they think of somebody else, and they're like, hey, check this out. And then they may pass it on to someone else, and then before you know it, somebody you don't know is reaching out and saying, hey, Marcus, I heard about, XYZ. And it's like that's the magic, right? But none of that would happen if you hadn't contributed to a conversation or if you hadn't shown up and expressed something, right? In a
Hmm.
certain context. And so I think it's going back to that quote, right? The article that changed everything. Um, yeah, just realizing that all our actions, and the more intentional our actions are, I think the more ripples they can have. And to realize that we don't need to like do huge things to have big impact. Sometimes it's the small ways, the subtle ways in which we show up, in ways in which we engage with people that have the biggest impact, and that end up,
Mm.
making full circle and coming back to you in
I,
non-linear ways, right? In just this
yeah,
very organic, mystical way.
I think. Well, to your first point about, you know, contributing to the conversation. I think that's what we're all here for in humanity. So yeah. And then now that we have technology, it comes down to Naval Ravikant. Something's amplified by public channels. Like nobody's stopping us from putting together this podcast, except for ourselves, you know,
Yeah, and sometimes the audio.
and sometimes the audio. um, I think it also changes our world at an individual level. When I was speaking about Emily Dickinson, when she wrote for herself, I write poetry to soothe me. That's self-soothing. It's organizing the thoughts. It's helping me see myself and making sense of what's up here. I write to the human experience, which is why it resonates when I put it out there. But even before getting out there, like it's here. You know what I mean? So it's
Mm,
changing this world.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, I'm really sure Anne Frank was not thinking about my seventh graders when she's writing her diary,
Mm,
but she's like, this is a message and perspective of the world and what war is for a child that ideally people in the future, when they're experiencing war again, they might see and understand what this means.
mm,
She's changing her world here,
mm,
but that world in the future, like that'll take care of itself. It'll change, yeah. But I'm doing this really for on a personal level here.
yeah,
She didn't know her father Otto would take it on. I don't know. It's that's why you have to be in integrity at a lower level, regardless of what happens, and trust the invisible, to be at integrity there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said, Marcus. Really nice. Really
Let's
nice. So, how does this relate to the
yeah.
Professor Amar and his article and his writing
let's
experience?
let's see. An idea has to be for an idea to be realized, made real. It needs to be expressed and ideally amplified. Realize, realize, realize. We're heading into an uncertain future. Um,
I love this quote actually.
yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah.
It's
So it's from his article, right? So he got all his inspiration, and now he's chapter 18 is about his actual writing process, and this is one of the extracts of his article. Imagine a future where the expression of our full human beingness is the next competitive advantage.
a
And I like this because, the whole competitive advantage thing, it it feels a bit old paradigm, right? Like competition and um, yeah, it takes me into the world of marketing and pricing and yeah, like, but to think of it through the lens of expressing our human beingness is actually next competitive advantage. It makes me wonder, who are we competing against, or what are we competing against, and
Mhm.
what does that even mean in the future context, right? Are
Y-
we maybe we're
mhm.
not competing against fellow human beings anymore? Maybe they are. We're in this together more and more, and yeah, you know what I mean.
yeah.
I'm going all in on that one today, Marcus.
And you know what? I do know what you mean. I do know what you mean.
Please help me then.
Um, hey, let's do this together, Mark. You know, words don't have meaning. People have meanings for words. And the reason I bring that up is competition. Oftentimes, you and I, and in certain circles, we say there's no competition, there's only collaboration, right? Competition, I really don't feel I'm against anybody. Rather, I'm solving a problem in alignment with higher forces, greater powers within and without. And you're just solving it a different way. And that's what I'm thinking when I'm thinking the market business world. Competition comes from com, meaning with, petition, meaning to ask. I really do think when we have healthy other people who are, again, I use the word rubbing up against. That's what conflict is. People who are seemingly misaligned, you really get to ask yourself, who are you? Is this Gatorade commercial? Is it in you? Like, what is the question that life is asking of you? That's what I think of when I think of competition. The next book that I'm thinking of is by this positive psychologist called Sean Aker. It's called Full Potential. No, your company is called Being at Full Potential. The book is called Big Potential. And the idea is there are different people with different skill sets, but for us to be at our full potential, name of your company, we need to be in alignment towards the goal, but everybody will have different contributions in a different way. I love that. And that often comes to mind when I'm working with you because in places where I'm faulting, where I'm weak, you fill in. But in moments where it's just like, you know what I mean? It's like, no, Marcus, you can express it very beautifully. I don't know if this is what you mean, but I'm gonna put into words what I think you mean. And it's
Mhm.
that's what it is at being at full potential. It is our and that is our competitive advantage. It is our collective moving towards a goal.
Mm. Mm.
Now, if we can align our goals, and if the goal is, I want you to fully be human, I want the full expression of you. We're going to start working at an individual level, an institute level, and a local community level for well-being.
Mm.
That's how we're at full potential if we focus on our well-being.
Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely part of what I, intended to express for sure.
Continue for a
Yeah.
moment, please.
Yeah.
Go on. I have to fix something. Go on.
Yeah. So, I mean, but the other aspect of it is this world we're living in where we have all these exponential technologies, right, that are
Mm-hmm.
taking over a lot of the things that humans were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those activities are, the processing power of the brain, the intellect, and our capacity for analysis and all these things that have been in the realm of human activity
Mm-hmm.
for the last forever really, now are being taken over by technology, and it's doing it better than us, and much more efficiently than us.
Mm-hmm.
Many of these activities, I think,
Bec-
and if not today, in a couple of years, it's so there's I feel it's really important that we don't try to compete against that, and that we start to look at what is it that makes us uniquely human, and that becomes the grounding, right? Our competitive advantage. That is where we can uniquely thrive and flourish. And in doing so, we'll be able to work together and partner and collaborate with these, very powerful technologies, and make them work with us and for the betterment of the world in general. And so I think that's also a really interesting aspect, right? Living
mm-hmm.
into our full beingness is the next competitive advantage for human beings. And the more we embrace that, the more we're going to be able to thrive and to flourish collectively. And the
You ever
more we,
think?
yeah,
Mhm.
the more we try to hold on to what has contributed to our success until today, I think there's risk in that, trying to hold on to the things that got us to this point.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Those people who don't want to change is inevitable. I was gonna say, you ever think that AI or technology is waiting for us, as you said, to collaborate?
I
In
think so. I think
AI
so.
is just like we're there, and it's just like, come on, guys, come on.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's inviting us
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to guide it, to coach
Got
it.
it. Well, oh man.
or to lead it, to lead it.
Man, you ever look up at the night sky, or it's seen the satellites and like just what we understand of when you think that 98% or 95% of the world is the known universe is dark matter that we don't understand, that we don't know. Within that unknown has to be something that's like, this is just my lens of the world. I think there's something in there wanting my well-being.
Yeah,
And what if it's reaching out via AI? It's just like, hey, process this stuff faster so that you can experience the fullness of what is.
yeah. I love that idea. I honestly, it really does speak to me that there
Hmm.
is, some much deeper intelligence in these emerging technologies, and that the more we can connect with that, the more harmoniously we're going to be able um, to live together, right, and to
We
thrive
will.
together. Yeah. It's a leap of faith, of course, but it's a leap of faith that actually does speak to me very much so.
Mm.
It's something I would be very happy to choose to believe in,
Hmm.
right? It's
Hmm.
like, we can't, there's so many things we can't prove, but we can choose to believe in it because it's an empowering belief.
Mm. I, and I think we've been here before though. Like, and what I mean is Tesla, he spoke of this and he said, I'm going to harness this power that's in the ionosphere, but because I know this technology, it's too much power for us. And if you come together, I'll give you this understanding of this power. Like, I'm speaking in a strictly scientific sense, right?
Hmm.
But now we have AI, and again, we find warring nations, but it's like, can we harness this power for the well-being of people?
Hmm.
And again, we're at an inflection point of humanity of how are we going to harness this power? And this again is acknowledging the woo woo, but woo woo aside, just in a very scientific sense. How are we going to acknowledge this for the well-being of us?
Yeah.
Anyhow,
It's a
well,
great, it's a great, it's a great question, and I think it is, very much one of the central themes that we're, not providing answers to, but at least opening up
contributing to the
or part of the
conversation.
conversation here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you've been watching this conversation between Mark and myself, Mark and Mark us, thank you. You can continue the conversation with Kenna and his three friends in university, coming home to who you are, get an advanced copy reader. We've actually changed up a lot since the version there, but if you get the version on the website, you'll follow us along for the journey and we'll be able to update you with our current book. Go to being at full potential backslash coming home. Mark, any final thoughts as we close this podcast?
No, just really enjoying this, Marcus. Thank you so much. Thank you for channeling me when I don't can't express exactly what's in me, and I think that is it is a really beautiful part of our collaboration and how this whole project um, has come to life, and how we co-create, how we write together. It is often sensing into each other and our thoughts and channeling them, and yeah, so I love how we do that as well on this little podcast. Thank you.
Boom. Thank you for being present as well. Right back at you, sir. And for everybody else, be beautiful where you are. I hope you're experiencing home, safe, security, warmth where you are. And until we come home again,
Until
peace.
we come home again. Bye bye.
All right, bye.